Hey, it's been a while. How you doing, guys? It's been a while. We are live. I've been very busy recently. I was planning on starting the streams again sooner. It took me a bit of time to finish this. Give me a second, I'm gonna share my screen. This. $57 videos, 5.6 gigabytes worth of videos, almost 6 hours and 13 minutes worth of masterclass I've been recording recently about how to get an unfair advantage about your first job. It's going to be pretty cool. So, hope you are doing well. Hope being back at work after the Christmas break was pretty nice for you. Last stream we did was on... Sorry. Last stream we did was... Copy. Sorry. Last stream we did was about... it was basically an impromptu stream about my birthday. The goals for the year. The lessons from the year and stuff like that. We talked about the fact of being anti-fragile. About goal settings. By the way. Still following my notebook. For the goals. Hope you're doing the same. And yeah. So. Today I would like to get back on goal settings. Especially the fact that, as we mentioned last time, we need to set up our goals very high. Let's say you want 30k euros at the end of the year. You should aim for 300k euros at the end of the year, basically. We talked about that, but we didn't really explain why. And in that stream, that is going to be kind of short, maybe 1 hour, I would like to discuss with you about that. I'm using a lot of reference from a book called The 10x Rules by Grant Cardone. Give me a sec, I'm gonna show you. Hey, Petit Poireau, nice to see you too. I'm back on stream. As I said, I was completely overwhelmed by the fact of having to record almost 60 videos for my mentorship. Plus it was in English, I had to do that paragraph by paragraph to make it nice. So it took me way more time than expected. Plus I had a lot of negotiations in the background. So kind of a messy beginning of the year for me, but very nice. And I'm in the midst of some pretty nice negotiation for a nice job, hopefully. And nice to see you too. Hope you are doing great back at school. It's going nice for you. And I've seen your compositions, by the way. Give me a sec. I was just correcting the composition just before the stream. So give me a sec. It was nice. It's pretty nice for you. So yeah, last stream for my birthday, we talked about goal settings, the books, the psychopath book, as I call it. the fact of aiming very high. I'm gonna explain why today. I wanted to share first a book called The 10x Rule by Grant Cardone. This is the guy. This guy is a businessman and a big billionaire guy. Speaking in a very politically incorrect way, let's say, very provocative. To action in some ways. But this book is pretty nice, and if you have like 30 or 40 minutes in the train or in the metro or in the subway every day to go to school or to work, if you listen to that every morning, you will kick ass once you are in class or at work. This book makes you want to kick ass so much. We're gonna talk about it. It's a very binary book where there is basically success and all the rest. It's very interesting. The TLDR of that book is basically every goal that you have. You should basically set your goals 10 times higher than what you are expecting to do. And you should solicit 10 times the energy to achieve it. We're gonna explain why. So basically, the simplest way to explain that mindset is that any goal that you set, it's going to be difficult to achieve anyways. You want to succeed at class, you want to get a job, you want to make 30k per year, I don't know. In any case, it's going to be technically difficult to achieve because that's a goal, that's something you cannot achieve right now. So why not set the goal way higher in the first place? It wouldn't change anything, but the potential for results might be way bigger. And the entire principle of that book is to leverage the fact that, let's say you want 30k per year. That's fine. Let's say you follow the 10x rule. Tell yourself, I want 300k per year. So it might be huge. It might be way beyond what you are dreaming of. What you are thinking might be possible. And that's fine. That's the goal. But the idea of having 300k is way more tempting than just, quote unquote, just 30k. And this book is entirely about leveraging that energy in order to achieve way more. That's why I call that stream aim high and fail high. That's because that 300k, sometimes you might reach that and it might really surprise you. Sometimes you might exceed that. It might be even better. But sometimes you might fail. Instead of doing 300k, you do 100k. Guess what? That's already a lot more than 30k. That's how you... That's how with that book, you're walking. It's basically you are aiming very high. Not expecting to fail. You're still doing your best. But if you fail, that's okay because it was way higher. It was technically a goal 10 times higher than what was expected. See my point? From that book, you can extract 4 common mistakes. The first one is setting your goals too low. The second one is underestimating how much action is required. The third one is spending too much time competing and not enough time dominating this sector. This is more business related. We can have some parallels at school and we're gonna see why. The common mistake number 4 is you are basically underestimating the amount of adversity that you will have to overcome. This is the price to pay when you are setting your goals very high. And you need to set them up very high. Because it's way better to aim very high and fail, but it's still way beyond what you were expecting in the first place, rather than setting goals within your reach. They are not goals anymore, they are just things to do. And succeeding and just being happy with that. And the main thing that this book is always repeating you is you need to be obsessed. If you are not obsessed with something, it's very hard to find the energy to do something big. So basically, let's say you want to be the best in your class at 2D. You need to have a passion for that. You need to be obsessed with that. You need to craft that obsession for that. If it's not there already. You want to be the first of your class at 3D. You need to be obsessed about 3D. Of course, you need to think 3D. You need to dream about 3D. All your free time needs to be filled with 3D content. Stuff like that. And for a lot of time, that's something we discussed a bit in class. But something a lot of people are telling us in general, by us, I mean artists and people who want to achieve something, is let's say you are at school, you are in high school, in college, whatever. Unless you are in art school, it might be different, but generally, people are telling you that being obsessed with something can be very bad. It's nerdy, it's geeky, like I'm obsessed with video games. Okay, yeah, cool. I'm obsessed with sports. I'm obsessed with, I don't know, birds. I'm obsessed with, I don't know, cars, something like that. But if you are able to channel that obsession towards something prospective and creative and productive, that's where you become very good. I have an example in my family. It's my younger cousin. He's 8 years old. He's very intelligent already. For Christmas last year, I bought him some puzzles for adults. And in maybe 3 hours, he got all of them done. But they were supposed to be for adults. So very brilliant kid on the intellectual spectrum. And this kid, since he's able to talk and watch TV, which is very early because our mom raised him with the TV, he has been obsessed with mechanics and trucks. Like big trucks to transport stuff. So the bigger the truck, the more complex the engine, the more noisy the engine, the more greasy it is, the more he likes it. And even though for now his dream is to be a truck driver, which is fine. It pays very well. He's also getting very, very, very knowledgeable about trucks. Even at 6, he was already knowing the brands. An engine was working, at least not the scientific explanation, but the basic explanation, like there is fuel going to the engine, with combustion it's creating energy to propel the wheels and stuff like that. Now he is able to recognize the different types of motors, and the motors being able to do different stuff. And he's getting more and more and more knowledgeable about it. Now he's crafting miniature trucks and stuff like that. And slowly but surely, if he keeps channeling that obsession for trucks, I would be willing to bet a lot that he would be probably heading towards engineer or STEM field in order to be a truck engineer, basically. Truck engineer working at Ford, Renault, Peugeot, some big brands like that to design trucks. That's how you can channel the obsession towards something cool. That's an example. As artists, we all have this obsession for art, video games, movies, and that's basically what drives us towards art school or our job. So you need to figure out why you are obsessed with that and what you are obsessed with it. What you are obsessed with, sorry. And this is the first step. Once you have noticed that there is something that obsesses you, that you're thinking about all the time, dreaming about, that will make the process way, way, way easier. Let's get back to the 10x rules. Basically, the entire principle that we already discussed last time was to set goals way higher than what you're able to do. This is in order to expand your comfort zone. Because if that's something you can already do, it's not challenging. It's like let's say you are doing bench press, you are able to lift 180 pounds. This is already quite a lot. Maybe 8 reps at 180, something like that. That's already quite impressive. Let's say you say next one, I'm doing 200. You might be able to only do 5, but at least you are proving yourself that you are at least able to do 1. That's the first step towards that next goal. And basically, if you keep that mindset, that basically, in order to operate at higher levels and far beyond the normal, you would need more action and more execution. In our case, 10x. It will take you very far because you are constantly pushing and pushing and pushing your comfort zone further. I'm gonna give you an example of my work. When I left Ubisoft... Oh, sorry, I was sharing my screen. When I left Ubisoft, what I was able to do basically was stuff like that. So pretty simple 3D, simple rendering, nothing too hard. That's into, again, pretty simple 3D. There's almost no shader, nothing. A bit of paint over. What I did for my new portfolio was to challenge myself with something I've never done before. It was like, hey, let's do a scene of an entire city, as best as I could at the time. For an entire city, I'm gonna craft pretty much everything or buy few sets if I need. Some of them I'm absolutely unable to do. I'm gonna do that in 3 months. I'm gonna make my portfolio about that. And basically it was way beyond my abilities. I didn't know how to model that properly. I didn't know how to texture that properly, or to do the lighting, or to pack that within 4.5 gigabytes in my VRAM. Stuff like that. Give me a sec, I'm gonna sneeze. Don't want to come out. Anyways. And basically I learned so much. I didn't know how to make an entire castle like that. It was way beyond my skills in 3D. I learned how to do that. I was unable to texture properly. So I had to learn that. I was unable to sculpt terrain. There was no world generator, Unreal and stuff like that at the time. It was handmade in ZBrush. So I learned how to use ZBrush. I didn't know how to make a tree. I had to make some trees. I learned about how to make them. I didn't know how to work with instances and stuff like that. So I had to learn them. And in the end, even though it was not perfect, I learned how to make a lot of stuff. I learned how to pack 120 millions of polygons and maybe 200 different textures in 4.5 gigabytes of RAM. Plus I've crafted a gigantic city. A stable. Got a light. And working on my... got a bad computer at the time. It was about rendering. In terms of quality, that's already way better than what I was able to do. Again, it was just about basically engaging myself on something I was unable to do, committing first and figuring out how to do it later in real time. And this is very reminiscent of what happened to me during my art test. Basically, there was the art test. I committed to do the art test. I had to do it. And when they told me, hey, you have 2 photorealistic pictures of a post-apocalyptic stuff, which I never did before, I did it once. With a very simpler, a way simpler scene like that. Way simpler, it's light and stuff like that, so it's way easier. So you have 2 pictures to do in 4 days. You need to use 3D. You need to render that properly. You need to model everything, or to figure out how to get it done in 3D. I didn't know how to kit bash then, so I had to learn. I don't know how to use Mixamo characters, so I had to learn too. Stuff like that. Virtually, it forced me, because I was committed to the artist, it forced me to become better instantly. And to figure out all the problems basically in real time. Like, did I know how to make debris and chipping paint like that? No. But when it was time to do it, I was like, okay, how to do that? I'm gonna grab a photo. Basically, you're doing the trial and experiments in real time. It was way, way, way beyond what I was able to do before I was doing this kind of stuff. It's crap in comparison. I mean, this was decent, but for 2015 standouts. But this is fucking crap right now. In comparison to that, this one is way, way, way more complex. Again, we are talking about expanding the comfort zone. Same thing happened with JAMA. Am I proficient with post-apocalyptic, like Mad Max style? No. Am I, hello? You still hear me? I got an error message from the stream. Is the stream still on? Perfect. So yeah, so Mad Max style, was unaware of how to do that. Doing this kind of character, I'm shit at character design, so I didn't know to make it. Did I know to texture perfectly some characters like that? Or to make landscape with water, a boat, some trees and such? No. Again, we are committed with the mentorship with JAMA. We first committed financially. Then we committed with our time and energy. So we had to figure that out in real time. And in the end, I did way better stuff than what I've ever done before. Because again, when you are cornered, you are able to do crazy stuff. And you have no choice but to succeed. That's where you are doing your best stuff. So yeah, basically you have to be obsessed with that. I was obsessed with my mentorship. I was obsessed with my art test. I was obsessed with my portfolio project. My cousin is obsessed with trucks. And generally when we are in school, in high school and stuff like that, they are always telling us that being obsessed is some kind of disease or problem. This is not. This is not only if you are able to channel that towards something creative. If you are channeling your obsession for video game by just playing all day, this is not creative. This is not something that will bring you something positive. Unless you can become an esport athlete. I'm a good athlete. But this is kind of hard. Or a Twitch streamer. You just need to first figure out which goal would cause you to become obsessed. And once you figure out that, that's the first step. Because now you don't have that, oh my god, this is tedious, this is boring, I'm not interesting, I don't want to do that. Now at least you are, okay, I'm obsessed with that. Let's just channel that towards something interesting. And then, once you're obsessed, because being obsessed basically is making that easier, that's where you can force yourself to walk beyond the expectations. It will take you far. And honestly, again, that's something that happened with all those examples. Don't worry about how much work it is, or how complicated it is, or how hard it is. You just need to focus on the results you can have at the end. The artist, the result was to get a job at Ubisoft. So of course I would do whatever it takes to get at Ubisoft at the time. My portfolio, I wanted desperately a new portfolio. I needed one. So I was not thinking about the process, about the pain of the process. I was thinking about the results. I have that goal. Mid-March, I need to have my portfolio done for IR Mag. Otherwise, I'm fucked. So I need this portfolio done, so I need to think about the results. I was already thinking about myself showing my work to Raphael Lacoste, to reviewers, to companies and stuff like that. Again, there is a deadline. You are cornered. You have no choice but to succeed. It's like do or don't. Do or do not do it. There's no try. Just focus on the results. Same with money. The example of I want to earn 30k. This is already a great amount of money in France. Let's say you are focusing on how to get 300k. Imagine everything you can do with 300k. That's crazy. That's freaking crazy. You can pay New Age like 8 times. And worst case scenario, you only get 50k. That's still way beyond 30. You are at C in class. You want an A. You're working so hard, you get a B. That's already way better than C. In any case, you have nothing to lose by doing that. So the first thing is you set the targets that are 10x the goals that you would ever dream of. That's what we did last time. That's the trick. Most people feel like they are walking. And it's something that is very common now. It's very rampant in people's mindset, mentality, in society, in medias and stuff like that. But apparently, walking is painful. That's how we are presented with that. You need to walk 5 days a week to enjoy 2 days of freedom. But those 5 days apparently are painful. Instead, the problem of that is that the goal and the reward at the end is only 1x. If you set that up at 10x, it's not a goal anymore. It's a dream. It's something crazy with crazy results. So it should motivate you. Instead of walking, now you are chasing something. And if possible, something that passionates you, something that obsesses you. So instead of walking, the more important thing is that you are chasing your passion, chasing your goal, chasing something. And most people feel like they are walking and that it's painful because the payoff is not large enough. Walking 5 days a week to enjoy 2 days of freedom, quote unquote freedom, I don't think the payoff is large enough. My personal payoff and goal is to be able to retire at 30. I have 3 years to do that. And see if I can retire before I would do it. I still start. I will still be working, of course, but not for clients, for sure. And to me, that payoff is way better. Being able to retire at 30, to enjoy my life, to have money, to have my cat and a little brother for my cat. That's a large payoff. Just being able to pay my bills and to live, that's already pretty nice. Don't get me wrong. And this was my goal 1 year ago. Just to get out of my mom's basement, being able to have my own apartment, and being able to pay my bills and to have my cat and be at peace. This was my goal at the time. 1 year after, would be 1 year on February 1st that I am in my apartment, so within 2 weeks. 1 year later, my goal is to retire at 30. So it shows me that first, I managed to achieve my goal. It was not big enough. And two, that once you reach out your goal, it's not the end. You can still go further and further and further. And something that is very hard for a lot of people to understand, that your thoughts and actions, our thoughts and our actions are the results of where we are right now. Of course, there is age and circumstances. Don't get me wrong. It would be stupid to compare someone that is 17 years old and someone that is 35 years old. This is stupid. Okay. But at the same age, this might be a bit fairer. Of course, there are other reasons. But basically, that's something we say, decrease the judgment of others, increase the judgment of ourselves. So just focusing on ourselves. Something that is very hard for people reading the book is to admit that everything we are responsible for that. Even if something happens to us and we are not responsible for that, the way we react to that is our responsibility. And basically, if someone is living a shitty life for years and years, has been living a shitty life for years, has been unhappy for years, of course there might be reasons, but the only thing that this person can control is itself. So always on my example of Bob, for example, if Bob is not enjoying his life for the last 5 years, that's his responsibility. His main problem is that his only goal was, I want to be able to pay my bills. Guess what? You exactly got what you had. Hello Paradox, how you doing, buddy? Wow. So yeah, be careful of what you wish for. You could get it, and if it's too low, you will become trapped with that. And that's the problem of Bob. Bob is complacent. Exactly got what he wanted. He wanted to be stuck at home with his girlfriend, have a daily job, working full time, and with that job being able to pay his bills. Guess what? He's stuck all day long with his girlfriend, working full time, a job that just allows him to pay his bills. Congrats. What if Bob had been wishing for the last 5 years to earn, I don't know, just at least twice as much money as that, or to be able to pay his bills in 5 days of work per month, and then being able to enjoy the rest of the month with his girlfriend, hang out in the street, go to the mountains, go to the beach, do personal work, play video games without feeling ashamed of doing that? What about that? And Bob is feeling like shit because the payoff is not large enough. It's just being able to pay his bills and to survive. And you are not thriving if you are surviving. It's not in a time of survival. We can see that across all the different civilizations in history. It's not in times of survival that we achieve greatness. We did functional stuff. We put boundaries, of course. This is nice. But it's in times of living that we are crafting the nice monuments, the nice art, enjoying life. If there's no adversity anymore, we are doing nothing, and it's becoming a bit degenerate, of course. You can just check ancient Rome, for example. It was becoming decadent just because they had everything. There's no threat. So eventually they became soft. And there's an old saying, basically, hard time creates strong people. Strong people creates good time create weak people create bad times. And that's a cycle. The problem with Bob and his goals is that he was in a hard time, so it was an occasion to become strong. His goals were the lowest as possible. So he got strong enough to do that, but not much. Not more than that. And once now he reached the comfortable level that he wanted, now he's becoming soft. And guess what? Now that he has no goals anymore, that he thinks that it's the end game, that it's fine to just be able to pay the bills while working full time, or probably clients that he doesn't like, not being able to work on his personal portfolio. Now, again, it creates a hard time for him. But he has not cultivated the fact of remaining quote-unquote strong. I don't want to be like, hey, be strong, boy, be a man. It's not like that. It's more like just being aggressively moving towards your goals. And being hungry and feeding that hunger. Kindling that hunger. Instead, it was like, no, that's done. My job here is done. Let's just play autopilot and be happy with that. Nope. Again, your thoughts and actions are the reason that you are where you are right now. In order to go farther than you will ever thought possible, you must think and act way beyond the norm. Way beyond the norm that we think that we are able. Maybe the norm of the society, but fuck that, we don't care. Decrease judgment of others, increase judgment of ourselves, but also beyond the norm that we, as an individual, we are putting on ourselves. And it's not to be woo magic, plug a red quartz in your ass. It's not like that. But it's just that limiting the amount of success that you desire. It's like, I don't know. First of all, it's a violation of the 10x rules, according to the book. But my question is, why would you like to have limited success? Why would you like to limit your happiness, fulfillment in life, the completion? Why would you like to not have enough success to contaminate people around you with that? That's the problem with Bob. Bob, just right from the start with his goals, was limiting his potential success. And you don't want to limit that. Because if you reach that, congrats. You're unable to do whatever else. During my birthday stream, I was talking about those other friends. There was the Vietnamese friend who unfortunately got sent back to Vietnam. Same, his goal was too low. I just want to stay in France. No. You want to have a full-time job, be paid very well, and be thriving in your career in France. By you focusing on just being able to keep your visa in France, even though it's the most urgent thing, the problem is you're not fixing the other problems. So if you are trying to fix the lowest hanging fruit, you will use the lowest hanging fruits solutions too. That makes sense to you guys? Or am I just rambling like an old madman? Does it make sense? But yeah, just wanting to stay in France. Fine, this is a noble cause. No problem about that. Hello, Kyo. How are you doing, buddy? But how do you... Again, it's back to our presentation about addressing fears. You're afraid. I am afraid of not being able to stay in France. What can I do to prevent that? Getting a job. Getting a way to prolong my visa. What can I do to repair that? Keep working while being in Vietnam to come back. What is the cost of inaction within 3 months? Within 3 months, you are back to Vietnam. Within 6 months, you're in Vietnam, you have no job for 6 months. In 1 year, you're in Vietnam, you have no job for 1 year. Congrats, you are in absolute poverty now. So, how to fix that? First, get a job. 2, get enough money to justify for your visa, because you need to fill that bank account. 3, get an apartment and a real address to justify that you have an address in France. To that, you need money. To get an apartment, you need a full-time job. To get a nice apartment, because you don't want to live in a shithole, you need decent money. So your goal is not to stay in France. Your job is to get decent money with a full-time job. Plus, what would be the result of being back to Vietnam? You would be unhappy and fulfilled. In order to be happy and fulfilled, you want a good career, a good job. See my point? That's the importance of aiming high. That's exactly what I told him. I told him there will be low-hanging fruits temptation. Don't listen to them. They will fuck you up. It's exactly what happened. Instead, what we were... attempting to do at the beginning with him was to get in a job in a AAA industry. This is the high-hanging fruit. And it should have been even higher. It would have been, hey, get your job at fucking Riot right from the start. But no, it was too big, too intimidating. It triggers anxiety, triggers, procrastination by being too busy. That's the vicious circle. That's why when the goal and thus the reward is not big enough, it's not strong enough to basically diffuse the anxiety and the procrastination. When the goal is so big, it overwhelms you. It obsesses you. That's why you need to be obsessed, because when you're obsessed, it trumps basically everything. It trumps procrastination. It trumps anxiety. It trumps lack of sleep, lack of means, lack of knowledge about that. You commit first to that goal. You give yourself fully to that goal, to that obsession. And then you figure out on the fly how to do it. Makes sense, guys? And you know when you reach that, it's basically when people start commenting and criticize your level of action. It's like, hey, take a rest, bro. You're working too much, bro. Just relax. Chill. You're working on a Friday. Just have some beers with us. You're working on a fucking Sunday, dude. What are you doing? Don't you have a life? Nobody. I'm crafting my future life. I want to craft my life. I want my life. I'm more in love with my life than you. Because if you were that in love with your life, if you wanted to enjoy life, you would not be slaving 5 days a week in a full-time job that you hate, just being able to cover your expenses without you being able to enjoy life and to think that you are free and to sleep peacefully at night while thinking that, okay, I'm safe. I don't have to worry about paying my bills next time. I'm not just one paycheck away from being in the streets. That's because I enjoy life that much that I want to work on a fucking Sunday. For now. And I don't want to follow the, save your money for 35 years and once you're 65, you're gonna be rich. No, I'm gonna be dead at 65. Or almost dead. What's the point of being rich if I cannot enjoy that? What's the point of being happy if that's in the 5 last years of my life? What's the point? I want to be happy and fulfilled right now. It's not fast enough. So when people start commenting your level of action and telling you and tempting you to take a rest, that's when you are doing something great. That's when you are doing something right. Because you are scaring them. And the fact that you are scaring them is because they, in contrast to you, realize that they are fucking lazy losers. Without any goals, or with too low goals. And I don't want to face that. And it's way better to drag people down than basically doing the work. People will say, bro, success is not everything. You need to chill, you need to be happy. Hakuna Matata. What's that song in the Jungle's book? Il en faut peu pour être... What's the translation in English? It takes little to be happy. Of course. Yeah. It doesn't mean that you should aim for little. Of course, you need to be satisfied with what you have. Or at least be not satisfied, but be grateful for what you have. That's different. You need to be grateful. You need to express gratitude. I'm grateful that I have my own apartment and I'm not living in my mom's basement. I'm grateful every day that I have my cat. I'm grateful that I can walk for whoever I want. I'm grateful that I can now afford to spend 1 hour and a half to stream in front of people without facing the consequences and without asking to be paid for that. I'm grateful for that. Am I satisfied? Fuck no. I want 200 viewers. No, I want 2,000 viewers. I want millions of dollars in my bank account. I want a crypto empire. I want a nice farm. The lands. A shit ton of cats. I want the biggest, baddest, useless computer PC you can have. So I'm deeply unsatisfied, but I'm grateful for what I have right now because it's way better than what I had 1 year ago. This is fine. So yes, success isn't everything, but limiting your success is limiting you and limiting your potential for happiness and for achievement. So basically by limiting your success, by limiting your dreams, by limiting your goals, you are setting up yourself for fucking failure right from the start. You are sabotaging yourself. And there might be a lot of reasons. Maybe you think you are not worthy. Maybe that's something we talked about in the mentorships recently. But let me figure out the slides again. Maybe you are telling yourself, hey, I am not good enough. I don't deserve that. I cannot get what I want for whatever reason. I don't fit in. I don't belong to that world. Maybe you are angry. You're like, no, I hate those people. In any case, you are sabotaging yourself. Like you, I don't want to be accusing you watching the stream, but it's like a universal you. So yeah, of course, success isn't everything, but it's important. And diminishing that importance with saying that success isn't everything, it's basically giving those people an excuse to limit their vision of success for themselves. And also to give them an excuse to limit the actions that they are taking. It's a lazy reaction. It's because our brain has two operational modes by default. The first one is running towards pleasure. Second, even stronger, running away from pain. Doing effort is painful. So of course our brain doesn't want that. You need to never reduce a target. You do not need to explain away failure. You need to always increase your actions. Otherwise, if you are figuring out excuses, you are just justifying you being lazy. You're explaining failure. You're explaining being lazy. It's like, I'm sorry to bash on Bob all the time. That's why I'm calling him Bob and not his real name. But Bob is always, when he's failing, which is a lot, like everyone, I'm failing too a lot. Probably even more than Bob. But every time he's failing, it's like, oh, it's just because I'm unlucky. It's not my fault. No, fuck you. Fuck you, dude. And still, you reacting like that doesn't help. Even if you are unlucky, you're acting like that doesn't help at all. Just get back on your feet. Go back to work. Simple as that. It's just, oh, because I'm unlucky, why even trying? Because you just want to be a fucking lazy bum playing Overwatch all day long. Guess what? You get exactly what you wanted. You get a hiding place, paying just your bills, and you are limiting your success. Good luck fulfilling the needs of your quote-unquote family. Good luck trying to afford kids that you will not be able to afford if that's your thing. Good luck sustaining a couple while you are that lazy. Good luck sustaining a way of living like that while inflation is rampant right now and you are not earning more. Good luck with that, buddy. It's like the stock market. You are not going up. You're either going up or going down. You are not going flat. When you are going flat comparatively to everything else, and especially compared to inflation, you are going down. So good luck with that, buddy. And also, nobody wins when they diminish the importance of success. You're not winning to achieve when achieving something you could do. Batman is not winning when arresting a simple robber in the street. Batman is winning when arresting the Joker. And still, this idea of not being lucky or finding excuse, it's basically being dependent on only one thing to succeed. That's basically our fault if we put all our eggs in one basket. Motivated people, even though they have hardship, they find other ways to access that. If I'm back to my art test, I didn't know to model interior. I didn't know to light interior. There was no global illumination at the time. There was no V-Ray. Or V-Ray was crap and I didn't have the license to it. There was no Megascan and Kitbash 3D. I didn't even know to photo bash properly or to make cinematic look. I didn't know to pose character and mix them all. Because there was 1,000 ways for me to fail or to give up. I did with what I had. I figured out solutions with what I had. And a lot of people in the industry, in the video game industry, that's my first impression when I went to Ubisoft. When I arrived on my first day, I was so scared because, and it's not to shit on Ubisoft. I love Ubisoft. But that's basically, when I arrived, I was very criticizing about the industry. I was thinking that everyone was in control of what was going on. And when I arrived, it was that gif of the house, basically, when I arrived at Ubisoft, it was this. It was exactly like that. I realized that exactly everyone, absolutely everyone was like that. Basically, they were facing stuff, bugs, unexpected stuff every day on a daily basis. That's their duty, their goal, and their job to deal with that. And to still build a game despite that. Those people cannot quit. Nor play the blame game like, oh, it's the fault of the coder. No, it's your fault. That's your bug. Deal with it. Yeah, they are finding different ways to make the game. And guess what? Those who use blame as a reason for not achieving success will never be successful. Victim thinking doesn't benefit you because when you think you're a victim, when you truly believe that you're a victim for whatever reason, I don't want to get into any debate. When you think you're a victim for any external force, basically you are removing any responsibility of success from yourself. You're always saying, because of this external factor that I have no control of, I'm a victim. So I can't have success. The problem is that if you truly go invest into it, the day you have a success, while thinking that you're a victim, so technically if you're a victim, you cannot succeed. But the day you have a success offered to you, there might be two things. The first possibility is that you think you don't, that success doesn't belong to you. You do not deserve that. Or else, it will cause what is called a cognitive dissonance, which is basically you are thinking something and you observe something else. And generally, our brain prefers to be right than us being good. So in order to be right, you will dismiss that success. That's why people with a victim mindset are never happy and never successful. Because if they are successful, it shows that even being a victim, you can be successful. So technically, you are not a victim anymore. So it completely circumvent the script they are running through their mind. So honestly, that's something I would advise. We talked about that already. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you have 5 broke, stupid, lazy bodies around you, you will be the 6th one. Or at least, well, it's not certain, it will be way harder for you to extricate yourself from that. Because you won't find exterior resources bringing you the leverage to extricate yourself from that shitty situation. So basically, get rid of average thinking and average person. Or average thinking person, at least. You need to rid yourself of average thinking and average action and average thinking person like that. Because that will drag you down. That will be the one telling you, hey, chill, bro, chillax. No. No. Or at least keep them from a distance. Because they are useful to tell you when you are doing stuff good. I still have some buddies. This is a bit sadistic, I'm sorry for them. But I still have some people that I'm never talking to, except when I have an idea and I want to battle test this idea. If these people is telling me that this idea is shit and I should quit, I know this is a good idea. Do you have people like that too? Or am I the only crazy psychopath with people like that? Or keeping people just for that? I'm a psychopath? Or do you still have people like that? That's that with some people a bit like Bob. But some people from my family too. That I don't really like my crazy aunt. But basically, every time I want to test an ID, I'm saying that people, hey, I have this ID. If that person is, if like my aunt is telling me this ID is shit, you shouldn't try, it won't work, I know it will work. That's a good idea. If you don't have this kind of people, that's fine. That's fine. At least you are safe from those people. But basically, failing to think big in the beginning will lead you to failing to act big. That's what we have been seeing with Bob and with my buddy from Vietnam. And what we can see from that is that weak people, they always resort to criticism. That's their only defense mechanism. Dragging people down. You see someone succeeding, oh, this guy just got lucky, that's fine. That's criticism. That's trying to bring them down, to diminish their success. No, they worked very hard for that. They will always say, I'm overwhelmed, I'm always working. Yeah, but you are working on fucking shit. By you being overwhelmed, that's already a problem. Successful people are not overwhelmed. They are busy. That's different. They are busy with interesting stuff. Because they want to get busy because they are obsessed. They are feeling all the time with their obsession. But they are not overwhelmed. Overwhelmed people is when you have blanks in your schedule to be filled with whatever you want. Whatever comes to you. When you're obsessed, you don't have spot for that. You are not sensitive to that. It's like you have a bubble around you and everything is bouncing around you. You're not receptive to that. You're not receptive to distraction. Why is everyone sending me messages? That's why the first thing, and you see that in art school already, for those in art school, should never play by the agreed norms of your industry, the agreed upon norms of your industry or of your field. You need to create new ways to dominate your sector. It's not to say fuck the rules. But basically, learn the rules. Understand the meta. Like a game, when you are playing Overwatch, there is a meta. This hero counters with this one. This hero is stronger. Then you play with the meta. And then once you play with the meta, you play to win. You figure out a strategy to win. So if the industry is telling you, let's say if society is telling you, hey, work 5 days a week to enjoy 2 days of freedom and then go back to work. To me, this is a shitty deal. A super shitty deal, that's just my opinion. This is the agreed upon norms. Congrats. Wake up at 6 a.m. Snooze on your alarm clock till 6:30. One snooze. One more snooze and you will be late. Take a shower. Eat a bowl of colored sugar. Get stuck in traffic for 45 minutes. Arrive late. Get shit on by your boss for 5 days a week. I'm not specifically talking about the video game industry, by the way, but just your average to your life. Then come back at 6 and a half. Get stuck in the traffic again. Arrive home at 7:15. Take a shower. Get your joggings and your shitty sweatshirt. Eat shit. Watch TV while drinking beer. Get drunk. Wake up the next day at 6 a.m. Half drunk. And go over. Rinse and repeat for 5 days a week. And you should be grateful for that. Yeah! And this is the agreed upon norm. This is the agreed upon norm. To that you can add, spend 5 years to get a shitty historic college degree that everyone has. Get 150k in debt if you are in the US. Start with, despite you having a master, start at minimal wage. Get a credit, live with a credit card, get a credit for your house, for your car that you cannot even afford cash. Rinse and repeat. This is the agreed upon norm. You need to understand the rules. They are trying to leverage debt to get you in debt, to get you to conform. I don't want to get political, that's not the point, but this was just an example. The rules is that they want you to get in debt. They want you to get a job, G-O-B, just over broke. You're one paycheck away from being broke. That's the definition of job. They want you to get a job, a G-O-B, just over broke, for you to never be able to take risks and to quit that. For you to become dependent on the industry, on the company, to be grateful. Thank you, McDonald's, for giving me my job. Thank you. Thank you. I am Bob. Thank you, shitty company, for allowing me to pay just my bills and nothing else. Thank you. I am dependent on you because I cannot afford to not work for you on the next month, because if I do that, I will be broke. So I cannot even focus on achieving my dream or changing career without doing some extra work. Congrats, Bob. You got exactly what you wanted. And that's the price to pay when you are aiming too low. You get trapped by that. Be careful of what you wish for, you might get it. If you want is too low, you get something too low and you get stuck in fucking hell. What Bob wanted was hell. What Bob wanted was to, quote-unquote, win based on the agreed upon norms of the society. And I got fucked. Instead, you need to create new ways to dominate your sector. So learn the rules, understand them. They want you to get you stuck. For that example, especially. Once you understand that, you figure out the meta. What's the meta? Have time, have money. Now you establish a strategy to do that with that meta. And then you win. Learn the rules, master them, excel at them, and then do whatever the fuck you want. Another example, you want to get the first job in the industry? Simple. What's the rules of the game? What do they want? The agreed upon norm to get the first job is you need to be good. No. What the industry is looking for is that they want the perfect candidate. They want someone that they won't have to spend time to train, because time is money. And when they are hiring a junior, it's time and money bet on you for you to first stay and two, to fit the mold. So the more you can show them that you can already fit the mold by having their style, having the same pipeline, the same software as them, understanding their art direction, stuff like that. Cater specific to this company. Let's say you are aiming at Ubisoft, at the division. You already have the style of the division. You already have the process. You already know how to make their piece. You know to make photo bashing, 3D and stuff like that. And when they see your portfolio, they're like, damn, this person, we won't have to train that person. Because this person gets it already. That's the meta. That's the real rule book. And once you understand that, you play by the meta. That's simple. I want a job for the division. I'm gonna make a portfolio that is a clone of the division. Boom. Send it. Don't fuck it up. And now you dominate your sector, which is your entire concurrence. There are still students thinking that, hey, I can get at Ubisoft if I show a Blizzard portfolio. No! It's not that it's bad, it's just that it's not what I want. And same, you won't get at Blizzard with a Ubisoft portfolio. When I see people telling me I want to work at Riot Games, but they only do realistic characters. Sorry, buddy, you can't. It's not that you are bad. It's just that it's not what I want. So you are playing with a different rulebook. It's like they are playing StarCraft, you are playing Dawn of War. So don't play with the agreed upon rules. Figure out the meta, dominate at it, and for it you need to be aggressively optimist. Aggressively achieving stuff. You need to aim for very high stuff. Don't aim for junior work. You need to understand how junior work works. Because that's what you will be asked to do. But you need to aim for senior level of rendering already. This way you do junior work with senior level of rendering, so it shows potential. It shows that you have potential for greatness. For 10x your junior level, basically. That's why you need to challenge those norms. Not openly, you need not to revendicate anything. It needs to transpire from you. Not in your style and appearance, whatever. I don't care about that. But with your work, what you are doing. You wanting to achieve more than the agreed upon norm is already a form of resistance. I'm not saying you need to resist, you do whatever you want. Some people are very comfortable with that because they found fulfillment in something else. If that's not the case, that's your only way. And the first thing to do is to approach everything, even something set at 10x level of expectation, with the attitude and the belief that it can be done. You need to believe that you will figure that out on your way. And the most comforting thing is that even if you fail, you're still achieving way more than the initial goal. There's no reason not to do that. The author of the 10x Rules book, Grant Cardone, he had an example with his wife. He basically told his staff that they needed to make 50 sales calls. Then he told them that they needed to make the calls in 30 minutes. And basically the team did 28 calls in 22 minutes. So it's not 50 sales calls. It's 28 calls in 22 minutes. That's already incredible. Because the first goal was we need to make 20 sales calls. Then he added the 10x rule of in 30 minutes. The point is just to stop analyzing and paralyzing yourself with overthinking and just act. That's why when you are an artist, doing speed paints is very important. It's like you're 30 minutes, no more time. 30 minutes. If time is pressuring you, that's bad. Something else you can do is, let's do speed paint in 100 brushstroke. You don't have any time limit, but you have a budget limit. That's very good too. And you need to figure out creative ways to achieve great results with only 100 brushstrokes. It shows you that planning too much is shit because you can find refuge in that. There is a time to plan, but once it's done, you should then commit. It's as simple as that. Again, another way to achieve great stuff is to reach up in your relationship to find people better than you to hang out with them. again, you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you spend your time with 5 broke, stupid losers, you'll be the 6th one, or at least it will be way harder for you to extricate yourself from that. If you're spending your time with 5 people that are already professionals in the industry, sharing tips, being way better than you have way more to learn from them than you have to learn from your 5 broke losers that are way below you. You won't have anything to learn from them. But from people way above you, you have everything to learn. And worst case scenario, compared to your 10x rules goal, you fail. It's still way above the 1x one. So in any case, you win. If you accept to aim high and to fail high. I'm gonna give an example that I told about last time. My goal last year was to make 300k. It was my 10x goal. My previous one, just to be safe financially, was 30k. I didn't make 300k. But I managed to make way over 6 figures. And this is something that 1.5 years ago I would have never dreamed of. Never. This year my goal is to make 1.5 million. Will I do it? I hope so. I think I won't. I will do all my best to do it. If I do it or exceed that, great. But if I don't, I know I would make way more than the 1x goal of 150. That's the plan. I will do everything in my possibility to succeed, of course. I'm expecting to succeed. But failing is not a failure in that case. It's removing a lot of pressure from my shoulder because I know that with that mindset, if I just stick to it and do all my best, I have already won. Compared to my initial goal that is the 1x one. That's why you need to set that up at 10x. Because there's very little chance that you really fail. In that case, when you fail, you win. Because not only you achieve more than the 1x, but also, because you fail, you have a huge opportunity to learn, to correct your mistakes. And thus becoming even more optimized. Make sense, guys? Put a 1 in the chat if it makes sense. I'm gonna end the stream pretty soon. I'm gonna be back at streaming pretty much every day. Starting tomorrow, that's my 10x goal. Starting to post one thing on Twitter and one thing on TikTok. That's the goal for tomorrow. I have no idea of how TikTok works. That's the goal for tomorrow, having posted one thing before the stream. Any question before we wrap that stream up? As always, if you're watching on YouTube, you know the jazz. Feel free to subscribe, like, follow us on Twitter, TikTok, Twitch. Join us on Twitch to watch live the shows. Join the Discord down below. And the best way to support my work, if you found it useful, aside from the financial way, is to recommend the streams and the Twitch and the Discord to people you think might benefit from it. Any questions? Any testimony? Anything to say before tomorrow's stream? I hope it was not too aggressive, by the way. It's not the goal. In some way, you need to be aggressively moving towards your goal. You need to have tenacity. Tenacity, the quality of fact of being able to grip something firmly. The quality of fact of being very determined. The quality of fact of continuing to exist. Any recommendation on a book you recently finished? The 10x Rule by Grant Cardone. Very good. Another one that I really recommend you is Unscripted by M.G. DeMarco. It's this book. Excellent book. Very funny if you listen to it as an audiobook, especially if you have a dark sense of humor. This is kind of unsettling, but very, very, very cool if you have a dark sense of humor. And basically, if you follow those streams, you already are kind of primed for Unscripted. Otherwise, you wouldn't be... if you are disagreeing with Unscripted, you wouldn't be listening to the stream right now. But very, very fun book. Very nice. Another book. No, Unscripted is pretty nice. And 10x Rules by Grant Cardone is very nice too. This book. I advise you to get you as audiobooks on Audible, so you can listen to them while doing something else. And if you have a lot of time in the subway, in car and stuff like that, just listen to the 10x Rules every day before going to work, and you would be really, really wanting to kick ass every day. Oh yeah, mastery is pretty cool. Mastery is interesting if you want to learn how to figure out your obsession. Something we discussed a bit about before. We talked about that in class too. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Very good book. Very good book. The mastery is very good to find your purpose. And generally, it's all about coming back to what was obsessing you when you were a child. Recently, I was watching the Harry Potter saga again. And when I was watching the Harry Potter saga again, and it was like, well, I was obsessed with that movie when I was a kid. I watched it 7 times in the theaters. And when you look at everything, basically everything, it's like, okay. Gothic architecture, bluish night tones, magic, cool robes, owls, mystery, wizard school, learning magic, got an orphan. And yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm as you know, I'm very obsessed with owls. And magic. And cool robes. And Gothic architecture. And knightly tones. And mystery. I wonder where it might come from. So mastery is good exactly for that. To understand where your passion comes from. How to connect back to it, because sometimes when you become adult, you kind of disconnect to it. Disconnect with it, you forget about it, and you kind of betray yourself. Oh, you know what? This might be a good subject for tomorrow, actually, dude. It would be interesting talking about that tomorrow. Put a one in the chat if you're interested with that. With all of that, finding your purpose, finding your... what talks to you, finding your voice, as they are telling in Mastery. Cool. Tipo, I remember you mentioned the notion of inner child. This is exactly... this is kind of exactly about that tomorrow. Cool. We have a subject for tomorrow. Thanks, guys. Eat That Frog is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. There's also The Art of Getting Things Done. Pretty good book. There is also a book called No More Mr. Nice Guy by Robert A. Glover. There's another book called When I Say No, I Feel Guilty. They're pretty good books I've been reading recently, or listening to. Anyways, we're gonna end the stream right now. Thanks a lot for coming, guys. Again, if you are not subscribed, or just following the Twitch, feel free to follow. So not to miss anything, feel free to join the Discord down below too. And tomorrow, we are talking about how to find your voice. I know it sounds kind of mystic and woo magic, pluck some rose quartz in your ass. It's not, it's pretty logical, it makes perfect sense in some ways. Anyways. A nice evening, guys. A nice day at school if you're at school or walking. See you tomorrow and take care.